Hey everyone, I decided to, while everybody's in quarantine, to make a video that I haven't done in never. This, if you already read the title, is what it's like to learn different languages. So, the first language that I'm going to talk about and we're going to discuss is English. English is my first language. It's what I know best. It's what I believe I'm pretty fluent at. I know many words and many in my vocabulary. However, I really say a lot whenever I speak. Like the majority of people, I guess. English, it would be difficult for some people. For me, I grew up learning English, so for me, it is my first language. So I don't view it as difficult, but there are a lot of struggles and a lot of obstacles that is hard to overcome when you're learning English. And for me, I got through all those obstacles through elementary school, middle school, and high school. So right now I am learning Korean. I would say that I have the basics down. I know how to read Hangul and I know how to pronounce it as best as I can. And I use a lot of Korean dramas for reference. I read a lot of Korean lyrics from musicians and artists in order for me to understand better and also try to learn different dialects in Korea because they have different districts or different provinces. So everybody pronounces this different things. So these intricate differences between different dialects I find very interesting. And once you start to learn more about it, you can see it in different dramas, you can hear it in different musicians, you can hear people's dialects come out once you start learning where the dialects come from. As for Hangul, I would say it took me a couple years to finally understand Hangul, not because I could understand it, but I usually go on and off between different months. So if I'm not in a need to learn it at that moment, then I tend to just put it off. But I decided to hatch it down and let me understand it as much as I can. And I was able to do that with Hangul, and I can recognize it whenever I see it in food or when I see it in packaging or when I see it in restaurants. So it's really interesting once you listen to Korean music and you don't understand the song. Then once you start to learn the language and then you go back to that song and it's like a whole new meaning because you finally understand what they're saying. And I always dreamt of going back to a Korean song that I loved when I was younger and finally learning the language and then going back and finally understanding what they were saying. And that happened to me recently because I've been really trying to hatch it down with my Korean knowledge. And I'm very proud that I understood maybe 50%. 50% is where I'm at. I would say that if I'm going to really commit to this, I really want to commit more to Korean language, as well as the other language that we're about to speak of. And right now we're going to talk about Spanish. Spanish is actually my second language, is what I was taught at home compared to being taught at school. While I like the Spanish language, it's not on my priority list. I would say it's on my third priority list. I would say it's ranked third on my priority list because I grew up listening to Spanish. So I could hear it in the music and I could hear it in the culture and dramas and movies and TV shows. So I've learned Spanish throughout the years without actually having proper teaching. So I think for Spanish, I just learned through my family and through family members. So that's how I was able to get around to Spanish. The next language that I want to talk about is Japanese. And Japanese is a language that I still am very beginner at. I'm still very new to it. I'm still learning about the vowels in Japanese writing. So let me explain. When I usually get into a language, I learn how to read the writing because personally that helps me dive deeper into the language and it's easier for me to get my head around the pronunciations and the words when people speak them if I know what it's written. That just helps me personally. I am still learning Japanese. I am very new to it. However, I'm not new to Japanese culture in my life. When I was younger, I was really into Japanese dramas. I got into Japanese dramas when I was 7 or 6, no, actually, yes, 7 or 6 years old. I was into Japanese animation when I was 5 years old. So I was very young when I started to understand the Japanese culture. And I fell in love with it instantly the moment I saw Japanese animation when I was 5 years old. And ever since then, this was the longest project that I've tried to accomplish myself. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, all these languages that I've learned, excluding English, all the other languages that I'm learning, I've taught myself. I've taught myself how to speak it. I've taught myself how to understand it, how to write it, where to research it. So I've learned all that stuff on my own. And it's been really eye-opening looking at different cultures and seeing how We have so many similarities, not just in our voices, but also in culture and music and the languages, how we speak it. There's so many words that are similar in Korean and Spanish. They sound almost the same. So it's very interesting once you dive deep into different languages because you start to understand that we have more in common than we have differences. And it's really interesting. And I would really implore all of you to start any language that appeals to you, whether it's their music or their culture or their food, whatever piques your interest. I suggest diving deep into the language because it will really help open your eyes to a different world. Now, while I have those four languages on my plate, I have other languages that I did learn before in school, but I've forgotten them over the years. The two languages that I took that I hope to relearn is German and French. I don't even remember how to read or write in French, so I need to get back on that. In my German, I used to know more German than I did now. My German right now has just been reduced to eins, zwei, drei. And I don't even know if I said that correctly. So that's my German so far, but I hope to relearn German and French hopefully pretty soon. But the number one priority on my list is perfecting Korean. I hope to be as fluent in Korean as I am with my English. My number two on the list is finally, after so many years, delving deep into Japanese. That's my hope, and I hope I can do that this year. And as for Spanish, it's almost just an instinct how it comes out. I just instantly understand what people will talk to me in Spanish, not the whole thing, but I could decipher what they're trying to tell me and what they're trying to talk about. So for Spanish, that's so far on last on my list because I have so many other things that I want to explore. And Spanish, I sort of just grew up seeing different Spanish culture around me. So I already have that down. I want to delve in deeper into other languages. So to recap, the languages that we discussed today is English, Korean, Japanese, Spanish, German, French. As a bonus language that I also want to learn is Chinese. Now, in Chinese, I am very uneducated on what is Mandarin and what is Cantonese. I think Cantonese is the Hong Kong dialect, and then Mandarin is the mainland China. That's my knowledge that I have so far. But what I've learned from Chinese is 我爱你, and I don't know if that's Cantonese or Mandarin, so please excuse me. I just know 我爱你 means I love you. So that's the word I learned in Chinese. I don't know if it's Mandarin or Cantonese, but I just learned it was 我爱你. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. English, take two. Ready? Okay. What do I say? English is very difficult? Is English very difficult? I'm not even sure if English is difficult. Pause. Take. We're gonna continue. I just gotta figure out what that is. I'm still thinking what to say. Anyway, we're just gonna wing it. Alright, 我爱你. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but we'll just leave it at that. The base. What was it? 私の名前はな。Watashi wa. Okay. What else is there? What else is there? And as for Spanish, is some because it is my first language and I continue wanting to learn. That doesn't make sense.